Hi, I'm Danny Butler, and this week on TrialTube, we're going to be talking about a few different things, but firstly, a huge thank you to Slick Whips for sponsoring this episode, who are now on board with us here at TrialTube going forward, keeping our bikes looking this clean. This week, we're going to be talking about a new bike, an old bike but new bike, a versus, a bike review, a PDI, and some controversial words about the British Championship. Because this is TrialTube. Now, that was a bit of a lie at the start. There's no controversy. There's no bad sections at a British Championship. There's just bad riding. And there's plenty of that from me at the weekend. Trust me. Now, I want to say a huge thank you to the guys that laid out the British Championship on Sunday. Obviously, through social media, everybody's got their own opinion, but nobody else is helping them put the flags in. And that's the honest truth. From a rider's perspective, it was tough, but the conditions didn't help. And apart from that, that's it. It's trials. Yeah, the scores were big, but nobody was forcing any spectators to put a number on. If you would have spoken to any of the riders, I'm very sure they would have all said the same. We all respected each other, and we had a tough day, and congratulations to anybody that won. So I still enjoyed it, whatever. I'm entering the next round, so we'll see how that goes. Now, we are talking this week about two bikes that one of them started all this palaver off. 3 good things about your Vertigo R3. I'm going to be honest, it's the R3's fault, the Vertigo R3 250 that's behind me. It's that bike's fault that I started to get the green bug, shall we say. And the bike that's in front of me, there is a new bike for my brother here on the channel who's left the 4-stroke behind. So we will be visiting the lovely people at Road & Trials as we look to set up this brand new bike. Now, being at Road & Trials means we're going to check out the shop a little bit, but it's more about the bike and the people. The people at Road & Trials is what matters. Basically, they've been in it a long time, but there's no point me talking about it, so you may as well hear it from the horse's mouth.
Hi, I'm Tony Kay, and I'm not the boss. My wife's the boss when she's here. Started this business when I left school for original owner, and then unfortunately, after working for him a couple of years, he passed away in a car accident. So me and my dad took it over, ran it for 20 odd years. Then my dad retired, and me and my wife took it over. And that's why we're here today. Well, my dad went into road racing. He had a really bad accident, so all my family were like, "You're not having a road bike, you're not going racing. You can do off-road stuff." So that's what got him into trials, a bit safer sometimes. And started riding trials when I was a bit late, about 14, 15, I think that's why I kept into it all the time and just did Scottish, got riding nationals. Because some of my mates that started when they were younger kind of burnt out at 18. So and just met loads of customers and friends at trials. It's really good.
Do you feel like trials has ever had like a? Do you feel like trials gets a fair go round, as in the way that it's always a sport that people forget that people really need to be better if they want to be better at something like enduro or motocross?
I don't know. I think it's a bit. People don't realise what it is when they don't know about it, because I think it's just old blokes doddering about on a slow bike. But when you see what some young lads can do, it's amazing, really, and it's all on back wheel, and it's a different sport now, isn't it?
What do you think sets road and trials up differently than other shops?
I think it's just that it's when you go to big bike shops, you haven't got that personal attention. We're a family business. We look after customers, and they come back.
That's it. Simple business acumen.
Yeah, personal.
Yeah, be personal.
Yeah.
Treat people as you'd like to be treated yourself.
Correct.
You know, manners maketh man or woman.
Yeah.
Okay, let's party.
Back here at Road and Trial, this bike has just come from PDI, this brand new 2023 Vertigo 250. It has been PDI'd only for one reason. It's actually my new bike. It's something I've never had. I was thinking about going along the private seller and trying to get as new as possible, but wanted to come down here with Tony and the team at Road and Trial, and he's actually going to go through the following bits now of what we need to do when you've had a new bike.
Right then, Ash, here's your pack foot bike. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I'll just run through what you get in pack. You've got your invoice.
Yeah.
With your part exchange on. We've got a USB with manual on, not a paper manual, save it, plan it. And then we've got spanners for adjusting your back shock if you want to. But we have set it up standard, and it should be right for your weight as it is, but you can adjust it if you want to. But things like that we can always run through once you get running.
On the finer detail of things, yeah.
Is there anything you'd like to know?
Just coming from the Honda, being on the 4-stroke, to be fair, I know obviously Dan in the channel, we've had a lot of Vertigos, but it's actually my first Vertigo. I think I've rode his for maybe 5 minutes ever.
Yeah.
And I only wanted to move really just for the weight difference, and there is a big weight difference.
Oh yeah.
And it is a lot nicer having the 2-stroke. So just a few of the finer things really when it comes to the Nitro, things I need to look out for, differences on the bike, just a lot of things that coming from a 4-stroke, and it has been a while since I've had a 2-stroke. Well, you know, there's a lot on the mixture and things with these now, isn't there?
Yeah. Only 30 ml of oil for 5 litres of fuel.
I mean, that's hardly anything.
And it wants running in because it's brand new. So let's have a look then. Fuel cap. Quite easy.
Nice central on the bike, very clean.
Yeah. One screw and you're straight into air filter.
Yeah.
And it's high up, so it ain't going to get particularly mucky or stuff like that. You just check it and have a look.
I mean, there's hardly anything that ever goes in on these as well, to be fair. From what I've seen of others, it's very rare they have to change it that often, really.
Yeah, there's just a few basic things. When you first kick it, if you press kick start, you let battery start to prime fuel pump.
Yeah.
And then kick it second kick.
Yeah, I'm guessing there's a sequence like this. As there was on the Honda, there is a way of starting that with the fuel injection, isn't there?
Yeah. And then we've got some basic things. We've got an oil window for gearbox oil. Yeah. Again, you can just look and see where it is. Battery's under the back mudguard. And if you want to check battery voltage, it's got an LED indicator on battery. Okay. Because it's an iCAD battery, so you can just press it. It's got 12
indicates everything, knowing what we're on. Yeah, which is fantastic.
And then obviously we've got lanyard in pack. That'll go on when we take bike outside. Yeah. And we've obviously when we've peed out, check coolant level, all that's done, so it's ready to ride basically. But it does want running steady first off because it's new. And then tyre pressures, we've put 6 in front, 4 in back.
Pretty much, other than running in steady, it's coming out as practical as it is. That realistically, without me running it in on the odd occasion, I could turn straight out at a trial. Only being gentle with it. Yeah. You guys have prepped it here at Road and Trial and the team. Yeah. That I could just roll out this weekend on it. Yeah. And do nothing other than
and win.
Be gentle and win. Let's go with the win. I like that technique. It's nice.
Right, Ash. As it's a new bike to you, if there's any bits or information you need help with, don't hesitate to give us a call.
So, back over to Danny. This bike this week will be putting it through its paces. The new 2023 250 will be going up against as a versus against the R3. Now, of course, we've got two very different bikes once again, but also same manufacturer, a bit of a time difference. A big thank you to Paul and the gang for lending us this R3 as well. Finding a bike 2 years old in this condition, because it is pretty much like new, that we can pit against a completely brand new bike and the bike look exactly the same, let's be honest, isn't easy to do. Now, the R3 was the bike that really got me into loving the Vertigo brand, and also made me want to make more TrialTube, so I guess I owe a lot to that bike. But we are going to go head to head with the new Nitro, the 2023 250, because these are both 250 bikes, which makes this a great Clubman episode, let's be honest. And we want to show the differences. I'm going to give you my honest feel between each bike, because there's still a lot of people out there that love the more dated shape against the Nitro. So we'll see. I'm going to tell you the truth as always, and stick around because, well, this is going to be good fun when you get the chance to do this. Now, before we get into this test of R3 versus Nitro, we're going to go over to Danny, who's doing a bit of cleaning, because we're going to show you just how much you can abuse a bike and then get it back to looking like this. Proper sparkly. Oh, it's good these are. Now, it's no word of a lie that at the past weekend at the British Championship, it was muddy. So what you're looking at right now is about as muddy as I think I'm ever going to get my trials bike. It couldn't get any muddier if it tried. And today, we're going to try and get it back to being, well, the level it should be. For a bit of fun, shall we see how much mud has actually been able to get inside the electrics box on this Vertigo after I've sort of sealed it up round the back light and done a few bits and bobs to stop water going in. So I'm going to see how much it's actually worked whilst the bike is still at this level of Here we go, big reveal. Try not to get any mud fall in there, if that actually happens or not. Hey, not too bad, you know, you're not too bad. You can see a little bit's obviously got around the top of the seal of the mudguard there and then come and splashed in there. But apart from that, my little bits of sponge have done their job, stopping it all coming over the top of the connections there. Well, I'm still going to have to clean it out, but, you know, preventative measures, and it was like World War I where I was riding, so, you know. Now, this week's cleaning is brought to you by Slick Whips, and they've partnered with the channel, so a huge thank you to Phil. And the reason why I've chose them to partner with is because Phil's an avid trials rider, and I want to try and support trials brands. So if you're some trials riders out there, the gear's pretty good as well. I'm going to be honest, as I always am. It's actually good, so that's why I've done it. And yeah, that's it. Simple. So after a lengthy period of heavy jet washing and then more jet washing, I've actually got the heavy off. So better start actually cleaning now. So it's chain off and wheels out probably. Now, if you're wondering how far to take it when you're cleaning your bike after a trial as muddy as the one I've just rode, minimum this far. So I've had the back wheel out, I'll be having the front wheel out in a second. It needs new brake pads, believe it or not, because the mud's absolutely mashed them. I've actually had all the electrics out here and cleaned out this box, which did get some mud in because it was going to. I've just taken the air box out and I'm cleaning that out now. And then it's going to have a new fresh spark plug in, fresh air filter obviously. I'm going to be dropping the gearbox oil, then probably move on to the linkage. So the V. So absolutely smashed it down with rain, so I couldn't get the end shots, but bike's clean, and a little announcement, we've just hit 10K. Section! Now, I've got a little section. We're inside the barn today at Trials Day, their small indoor area, which is super useful, especially on days like today, and the weather hasn't been great in the UK. Now, this section starts with a little drop in here, a corner into a small step, then we're going to go over the other side, a nice little sort of side up in front of another step, which leads to kind of like a log, then onto a tyre. Then we're going to go off the tyre, round a couple of corners, and then across a couple of cotton reels, a bit kickstarty style, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. And then there's a big drop at the end, which is going to test out the suspension, because between these two bikes, a lot's changed. And one of those things that has changed is the amount of suspension that we've got. Spike up. The original R3 250, which, I'm going to be honest, I haven't moved the bars or anything. This one still feels as good as it did when it came out of the box. So, some very light usage. The brakes don't even feel worn in. But we'll see how we go. Gearbox, feeling as premium as ever. Slightly worn in, but, you know, I feel like this bike's just had running mileage. And I haven't yet jumped on a Nitro, so this is the first bike I've rode today, and it feels, well, it feels great. Now, I normally ride in second gear for most of this sort of stuff. Up and on top of there, moving it around, a little vertical drop off here. So as you can see, that's quite the drop off there. Turning the bike around. Now the R3 does feel long and balanced and super smooth. It might not breathe as well as the Nitro, but what a bike. I can feel that drop off suspension difference though, through my feet. Right, here we go, nice little step, but you've got to ride to back wheel because of the tyre. Second gear, off the back, nice little blip as the front hits. It's not a double blip, it's like one rev all the way through like a rom. The double blip is nonsense. We've got a nice little step here with an open pipe. Hopefully we can just touch the bottom and touch the top, and up we'll go. And we're over the last step. So here we go, up on top. Now this is wood and it is wet. So what a grip test. And if I get this wrong, I can crash my head into the side of a tractor. That's awesome. Right, here we go. Drop off on the R3. Oh, my God. Okay, bike number 2, the Nitro. And I tell you what, straight away, even with that little drop there, you notice straight away that the bike is slightly wider, a little more planted. The head angle feels slightly steeper. This is a new bike and it just breathes better. just sounds more. Same gear, same section. Here we go. That steeper head angle as you drop in there, you do feel over the front slightly, but it still feels easily capable of that drop off. No pain through my feet, a lot more plush in the suspension. It revs up a little bit faster because the R3's got a 380 gram flywheel weight on, and the Nitro's got nothing, absolutely nothing. So, same gear, second, same gear, pants and a top. Pushing through those pegs, which standard on this new Nitro come an S3 hard rock peg, which honestly feel a little bit small. Unpopular opinion, but there we go. Right, up the step on the rear tyre. Just so you know, I haven't set the clutch up or anything. This is just how it's come straight from Road and Trials. They've done a good job of prepping this because I haven't done it. In with the Nitro, same step. Nice little leap up. A faster reaction out of the Nitro. Up we go there with the Nitro. I nearly lost what I was saying there. Nitro. Same drop off. I don't know why, but I just feel more confident on this bike. Yes, I've got a Busto. Yes, I'm more used to it, shall we say. Is that even good English? Same drop off, nice and slippy. Oh my goodness, the difference is massive, massive. Good work. Now I'm going to have to be bluntly honest. Obviously when it comes to a versus, old versus new, green versus white and khaki green, old Dan versus new Dan. New Dan is more tired than old Dan because old Dan was younger. The Nitro doesn't pip this, it takes it hands down. Sorry to say to all those people that like the under-seat exhaust, which was cool, it was cool. But after a while it sort of warmed up the mudguard and sent something that was a little more erect, a little more floppier. And the Nitro has just fixed all of the problems of the R3. Which the Nitro did pick up its own problems, of course, which we saw during my cleaning part of this episode. But did the mud get into the box? I'm sure I would have found out by now, because I've shot this in the wrong order, and that's TV, kids. No. So the winner, hands down, the 250 Nitro. It fixes all of the problems of the R3. But the Vertigo R3, we salute you because, my God, what a good bike. If you have one of the Vertigos in this shape, I don't understand why these bikes lose value in the second-hand sort of, I don't know, second-hand market, because they shouldn't do. Because honestly, that right there is better than any 22 gas you could ever put your leg over. Unpopular opinion? Probably. Do I care? Not at all. Now, as always, I'm going to hand over to Danny because we've got a few other things that we're going to talk about. Is that what a tractor sounds like? Please tell me in the comments. I think, is it more of a as you go along the field? I don't know, honestly. This is just me making an absolute fool of myself to try and talk through the end. It's what I do. What can I say? Now, before this finishes, a huge thank you is going to have to go out to the guys at Slick Whips who are going to be helping me clean all the cow muck off my new whip. And yeah, also my brother, the guys at Road and Trials who've obviously set the bike up for us, the new Nitro 2023 bike, as well as spent some time with us during the PDI and let's be honest, those guys are just really nice up there. So check out Tony and the team because they do a great job. Big shout out to my brother who has actually let me christen his bike before he's even ridden it. So that takes some doing, that does, letting somebody else ride your brand new bike before you did. So respect. You can follow him at Factory Ash on Instagram. You'll be able to find him somewhere. And last but not least, we've got so much more content coming up on the channel. It is awesome. Some of it's going to be here at Trials Day. Oh, big thanks to those guys as well for letting us use the barn, because as you can see, the weather is not the best. It's the kind of weather that you set a British Championship out to. Too soon? Too soon. But apart from that, like, share and subscribe. We've got some more incredible Trials tasty content coming up. That's right, we have a whole episode dedicated to the most niche form of Trials. A bunch of people that don't get the respect that they deserve. And I'm not talking about people that are in the no-stop community. I'm talking about sidecars. That's right. Take a friend, take your missus, take, I don't know, your sister, even worse, take somebody you don't like, because I can tell you from being in the chair, it's not an enjoyable experience. And if you are into that, you're sadistic and slightly brave. So we've got some of that coming up. We also have a Majesty build for those of you that are into the twin shock Yamaha crowd. That's right, and not just any Majesty build. This Majesty build is really going to whet your appetite because it is fit. But in the meantime, I'll see you next time. All right, bugger off. I'm going to play on my tractor now.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel